It's Rob Anderson with DollarMoves. I'd like to welcome you to the second live Getting to Know show. And I want to make sure, first off, as we're starting this, the show yesterday was great with Robin Johnson, but I want to make sure that you guys can hear me and that you can see me and that everything is going good that way. Now, if you haven't seen the show before, like I said, yesterday was the first show, you can check out Robin's show at dollarmoves.com/getting to know Robin Johnson. And you can see that show. But what the show is about, I'm bringing on some of my favorite entrepreneurs, online sellers, people that really, are doing great things out there and that I think that other people should aspire to. And I want to talk with them about kind of where they've come from, what they've done to get to where they are now. And so today, my guest is Steve Raiken. And so, how you doing, Steve?
Hey, man, I'm doing well. Thanks for having me on, Rob.
Absolutely. And I want to let you know, so if you don't already know Steve, I'm sure a lot of you already know Steve. He has a popular YouTube channel called Raiken Profit, which has just under 30,000 subscribers, which is just, he's killing it on there. Now, on his channel, he helps other people learn how to make money in different ways, eBay, Amazon, and many more. He's author of numerous ebooks, including 101 Killer Clothing Brands, 102 Killer Clothing Brands, Blazing Profits Program, and his newest book, Pawn Shop Profits. And I'm sure we'll be talking about that a little bit later for sure. He's one of the co-founders, or one of the founders, excuse me, of the Green Room University membership site that teaches others to make money and is also a community where like-minded people can hang out and help each other out. He has his website, RaikenProfit.com. And then I noticed, too, he has a free book called 100 Amazing Items to Resell that I'm sure you guys will all want to check out. And I will put the link down below. It's, I don't know, should I say it? Like, I guess you could probably get it. http://RaikenProfit.com, 100 amazing items. But I will put that in the description as well. But I'd like to welcome you to the show, Steve.
Hey, man, I appreciate that introduction.
Look at that. I told you I was doing my homework, brother.
I like it, doing your homework, man. Yeah, first off, I want to say thanks for having me on the show, Rob. And, I still remember watching your videos a couple years ago, and we hadn't spoken at the time. But I remember one specific time I was at my parents' house. I think I was actually living at my parents' house 2 years ago. Actually, I was living at my parents' house, working at the Cracker Barrel, making $5 an hour plus tips. And I remember one time my mom, she was starting to sell on Amazon. She goes, Steven, come on in the other room. You got to see this guy, and it's you on the screen. And she's like, I love this guy. He's awesome. And
dude, shout out to your mom, Mama Profits. Yeah,
Mama Profits in the house. She might be watching right now. So if you're watching right now, Mama Profits, a lot of love coming your way.
Absolutely. Thank you very much for showing Steve.
Yeah, but she loves your videos. I love your videos, and we connected recently, and we've been kind of working together a little bit, and it's just awesome to be here with you, man, because you're super positive, educational, and just a straight up nice guy. So thanks again, man.
Awesome, and thank you. And as you know, because I talk with you, I've been talking with you quite often lately. I mean, I'm also a follower of yours. I watch your videos. I mean, I'm a subscriber as well, so I'm one of those almost 30,000. So it's awesome to have you on here, and I love your energy. That's one of the things, your energy, and you're putting out there so much great info that can help so many people out. So I think this is going to be awesome, and yeah, I think that we're going to get a lot of value today. So first off, let's start the show here. Now we've got everyone, Crystal, I guess I didn't see, is everyone hearing this and seeing this? We're good on that? Hopefully?
Yeah, it looks good in the comments section. Everyone's saying hello.
Good. Okay, great. So let's start this out then. I'd like to hear about you, kind of who you are, where you're from, family. We talked about Mama Profits already, but just kind of a little bit about you and, let people know a little bit more about you.
Yeah, sure. My name's Steve Raiken. I have a YouTube channel that I started, I think about 3 years ago, called Raiken Profit. Now I have, I think 700 or 800 free videos on there teaching people about eBay and Amazon and Kindle publishing, internet marketing, pretty much anything that I've learned over the years. I've put it out there for free for my followers to help them out and give back. Because if it wasn't for YouTube, if it wasn't for the information, the videos, and the people that I meet, kind of like you, Rob, I would still be working at my day job. And kind of to take a step back, 3 years ago, I was miserable. I was broke. I was living at my parents' house. I was probably 30 pounds heavier. I was smoking cigarettes, smoking stuff you don't even want to talk about,
Right.
and just a troublemaker, and just didn't really have any direction or purpose. And when I found YouTube, I stumbled across a bunch of people. One of them is specifically the Bonafide Hustler, who I'm actually now partner with in the green room. But I found his videos, and I started flipping bicycles on Craigslist about 3 years ago. Sold about, I don't know, 10 to 15 or 20,000. I don't know. It was at least 10 to 20,000 in revenue off of road bikes, mountain bikes. And I'm like,
Oh
holy
wow.
mackerel, I'm making more money flipping bikes off of Craigslist than my actual day job. And eventually ended up quitting that job and moved into eBay, selling clothing on eBay, went full-time with that for a couple years, moved into Kindle publishing, created my own products, was making YouTube videos the whole time. And, up until this day, now I work from home. I run quite a few different online businesses, and I love it. I love that I'm able to earn money by, doing what I love, helping people, making a difference, having a purpose, and it's just super awesome. But I'm from Connecticut. I'm 28 years old, and yeah, I mean that's a little bit about me.
Awesome, man. So you started, well, actually, I'll get to that. What was the first time that you ever made money, like as a job or even on your own, and how old were you? Do you remember that, the first time you ever did something for money?
Yeah, I actually had a newspaper route. I think I
Okay.
was maybe 11 or 12 or 10. I don't even know. But, again, shout out to Mama Profits. If it wasn't for her, I would have never woke up. I swear, I hated it. I hated it. And I actually, that was the first time that I had a taste of working with partners. And I don't know if you've ever been in business with partners.
Mhm.
There's a lot of amazing things, but it's also a challenge, kind of like a relationship. You're
Oh,
married, right?
absolutely.
Any,
Absolutely. The same thing.
yeah. I'm not sure if you're married or not. I'm single.
No,
I'm a
I'm
single
single,
guy.
but I've
But
done the
yeah,
partners and I've been
yeah,
married, and so it's the same
yeah.
stuff.
Any relationship, any partnership is definitely a challenge, and it takes work. And that was the first time that I had a taste of being in a partnership. My buddy John was uh, my sidekick with
Mhm.
delivering newspapers, and he would never wake up. I remember me and my mom just like knocking at this kid's door, and he would just never come out. He would never wake up, and that was my first taste of money. It didn't last too long though.
Yeah, that's funny because I had the same thing, and I hated it too because it was early morning. But what I loved about it was that I made my own money, and also what was really neat. Did you have to go out and like get your money for the subscriptions every month and 3 months or whatever?
Man, I'm really having to like dive into the memory banks to think of this, but I remember having this little pad, right? And you had to like rip off the thing and give it to them and collect your
Right.
money, and you would like hope to God that you would get a tip.
Right, and but what's cool about that is that that was really the first accounting I ever did. I did like numbers and stuff before in school, but so that was like, okay, so I'm taking money for value, and that was, but yeah, I would not do it again, man. It was pretty
We
gnarly.
should go, man. We should start up a paper route together, man.
Yeah,
God, we'll
because
make a
paper
YouTube channel
paper
out
is
of it.
killing it these days.
Dollar profits, man.
There you go. So, when did you start selling online? Was it actually 3 years ago when you were doing the Craigslist, or was it more
Well,
recent that you got online?
most people don't know this about me, but before I even dabbled in like selling bicycles and doing clothing and stuff, my brother at the time, my brother's a really, really smart guy. And the funny thing is, he figured out how to he always had money. He never worked a job in his life
Oh, really?
up until like he was 26, and he would always have these little side hustles, whether it's flipping computer parts or just doing random little like just little things to make money. And it was crazy. Everyone was just so amazed. He would always have money, and he wasn't doing anything crazy. He was always just flipping and doing little
Right.
side hustles. And one of his side hustles was he was actually sniping gold and silver coins off of eBay. I don't know if you've ever followed like the precious metals market, but I think it was maybe, I don't know, 4 years ago. Do you remember when silver and gold was like going through the
Way up.
roof?
Yeah, it was like 2,100. I think it peaked at one point.
Yeah,
Gold.
and I think now silver's like at like $10 or $12, but it was flying. It was up at 20 and 30, and I got in when it was about 20, 25, and I was buying. Pretty much what I was doing was I was going on eBay and I was setting. I was going into the silver, 90%
Hmm.
silver, because that's what I specialized in. I knew everything about it, and I would set to the newest listed, and I just keep refreshing the page for the people who just post. Like for example, say you had a bunch of silver and you posted on eBay. I just kept refreshing the newest, And I was
Okay.
trying to figure, I knew exactly what I could pay and what I could flip it for. I had a forum that I belonged to online with retail guys who would buy the actual silver at retail price. And I would snipe it off of eBay and I would flip it there. And I made thousands of dollars. And one of my best flips was I made over $2,000 over just a single flip. And the
Oh
reason
wow.
was, overnight the silver went from 40 to 50 overnight. Like it flew up like $10 overnight, and I flipped it, and then it crashed back down, but I got it right at the top,
Nice.
and it slowly died out. But that was like one of my first hustles before I got into Craigslist and stuff, flipping coins online.
That's interesting. And you were still working and stuff. It wasn't profitable
Yeah.
enough to really to
Yeah,
pay more than your job. It was.
it was just a little side thing. I would just come home at night or in the morning and just do it for an hour or so, and you'd be amazed at the amount of deals that you would come across. Now, I'm not sure if it's still profitable or lucrative, but I
Right.
learned it from my brother, and my brother, he taught me how to do it all and everything, and he's a freaking great guy and super smart.
That's awesome, man. And so that was your first foray into eBay then.
Pretty much. I sold a few things now and then that I had in the house, but it was like my first like kind of hustle. I've always been a hustler my whole life, sometimes
Uh-huh.
legally, sometimes illegally. And to be 100% transparent, I had some tough times and hit some rock bottoms and did some stupid things when I was younger. But I've always kind of had that hustling mentality in me.
Right, right. And I think that's how it kind of is with a lot of entrepreneurs. It's like we are always looking for something, some way to make a little something and hopefully not have to work too hard doing it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah,
So
that's what it's
now
about.
let's see here. So I guess was that really the start of what got you into business? My question is, everyone has a story about what got them started into business and what led you into starting your business. But I think that question is more like into the online thing. Like when you really started as a business selling online.
Yeah, I mean, it was when I quit my job. Like I said, I was selling bicycles and stuff, and I live in Connecticut, so it gets cold over here, and I couldn't sell bikes anymore. Nobody wanted to buy them anymore during the winter time, and I had to figure out a way to be able to constantly find inventory. Because as you guys know, for anybody watching, if you're brand spanking new to e-commerce and that's selling physical products, whether it's Craigslist, Amazon, Etsy, eBay, in order to make money, you've got to find an item. I don't care if it's a clothing piece, a bike, a printer, whatever it is, but you have to find clothing at a discounted rate. Excuse me, find a product at a discounted rate, and you have to sell it. I ran out of stuff to sell. I had no bikes. Nobody wanted to buy, so I had to find
Okay.
something new. And that's when I found selling clothing on eBay, and that's when I developed my first, I'd say, real business, because I had constant flow of inventory coming in. I had constant sales coming out, and pretty much what I would do is I would go to thrift stores, Goodwills, Salvation Armies, Savers, and I would buy clothing and I would throw it on eBay and sell it. And I was doing anywhere between $5,000 to $7,000 per month in gross sales. I wasn't
Oh
getting
wow.
rich.
Mhm.
But it was a constant flow, and one of my struggles was, how am I going to find something that, how can I find enough product to resell to make this consistent? And you go into any thrift store, Rob, what do you see? You see books and you see clothing. That's like the
Right.
the most abundant thing. And I didn't know about books at the time, but that was my first real business, because I was always able to find stuff all year long, unlike the bicycles.
Right. So how did you get into finding what was profitable for books? Because, I know you've come out with your products teaching about, the great product brands and stuff. Was that just, learning and churning through everything and looking and guessing, or was there another thing like what you're doing out there? Were there forums or anything, or was it just
Well,
like go for it?
it's a different story now, because it's if you come into the market wanting to resell now, you have unlimited amounts of resources. There's YouTube videos, there's
Ridiculous.
big channels like ours, there's smaller ones. They all have equal the quality of content. All the information's out there. Facebook groups, blogs. I mean, it has blown up over the last couple of years in terms of just the amount of information out there. When
Hmm.
I started, man, two and a half, 3 years ago, I don't even know how long it is now, Rob, there was only one or two people talking about selling clothing. There was a woman named, her YouTube channel went by Autumn's Upscale Resale.
I haven't heard of her.
and I think she took all her videos down, but I actually interviewed her on one of my programs. Awesome woman, and she actually was talking about some of the brands like Pendleton, the Territory Ahead, and a few other brands. But I would literally go into a thrift store, guys, looking for two brands, Territory Ahead and Pendleton. If I didn't see it, I would just leave. I would just leave. And again, Rob, it all comes back to you've got to be able to find enough product to resell, because again, if you want to make more money, you've got to sell, you have to list more, or if you're doing FBA, you have to send in more. So I literally forced myself to learn what can I buy in terms of clothing to resell for good profit. And I spent hours and hours and hours inside eBay looking through the sold listings. So this is what I would do. I would go into men's clothing. I would type in maybe clothing that sold for 20 or more, sold listings, used, and I would just study, and I would write all these brands down, and nobody was talking about it. There was only 2 people really talking about it, and I learned a ton from them. So shout out to Autumn's Upscale Resale and Ronnie Hart, big influences in my early days. But I just learned it all, and eventually, you know, when you have a YouTube channel or a blog or you have any type of service or coaching, you're going to notice what people want. And people kept asking for, what's the best brands? What should I buy? What should I sell? And there was a need in the market, and I filled it when there was no one else doing it back then.
Yeah, so that's awesome. So you really had to work for it to learn yours, like you said. I mean, could you imagine like getting into reselling now? It's amazing. Like if people say there's no opportunity out there and no way to learn stuff, I mean, come on, guys, come on. Like, come on. Like, how many videos do you have? You know, I'm just at 200, and you have like 700 or 800 or something. I mean,
yeah, it's too easy.
Just us. I mean, there's so much out there. And the Facebook groups has been an amazing addition to that whole thing, too. So are there any struggles or challenges that really stand out to you as you were kind of building your empire?
Yeah, like I said, I wasn't sure what to buy and sell, so I would buy brands and I would list them, and they wouldn't sell, and I'd waste my money. I would look for items, and I'd bring it home and list it, and there was a flaw, there was a hole, there was a rip. You know, I remember a few times I brought the items to the dry cleaners when I was doing clothing, and you guys, my business model has changed tremendously over the years. I'm very, very little in terms of eBay now, but I'm kind of bringing you back to where I started. I would bring clothing items.
All about.
Yeah, exactly, and I would bring clothing items to the dry cleaners, and I quickly realized that would eat up way too much profit. There was another struggle where you know, I had no time. I had no life. I was crammed up in a little 200-square-foot bedroom. I didn't have much money. I was spending all my time photographing, listing, sourcing. Literally, I had no life, and I realized if I want to be able to scale this business, I'm going to have to get some help. And I ended up hiring somebody to take pictures for me. At the time, my ex-girlfriend was helping me list, ended up renting out an office, and just lots of struggles. I mean, I remember, you know, there would be times on a Monday. I don't know if you've ever sold. Have you sold on eBay? I forget your story. No, you haven't. Okay.
I started right with FBA, man. I love it.
Yeah. Well, Mondays, man. Since you wouldn't ship out on Saturdays and Sundays, on Mondays I would have like 20 or 30 items to ship, and I didn't have a system to be able to find my items that sold. So literally, my bedroom, man, my closet was like 500 items in it.
Wow. Like, so that was your storage. That was your whole business was out of your room.
Yeah, but I had no system. So when I sold an item, I'd have to go through each item.
Oh, God.
I used to lose items all the times, and my cancel rate started going up. And, like, I never got suspended or never got in trouble, but I saw my numbers, and I'm like, I'm going to get in trouble if I don't figure out a system. So I still remember having a pen and pad in my bedroom. There's freaking just the whole bedroom's destroyed. There's holes in the wall. Me and my brother used to go to battle when I was younger. I mean, just it looked like you were in a freaking third world country or something. And I remember trying to create a system to find my clothing, and I ended up coming up with a system where I took a piece of masking tape and put it on each clothing hanger, associated a letter and a number to it, and stacked it in tiers. So then when it sold, I was able to find exactly where it was, and I never lost another item again. So
was that hanging clothing or was that folded?
Yeah, that was hanging up clothing.
Okay.
So I
kind of remember when you did some of that, when you you had actually rented out a storage unit, and I want to get to that in a second here. But,
I skipped over that. I completely forgot I had that before the office.
You, brother. No, I've watched you. I'm telling you, I'm a subscriber, bro. So now, how important do you think that those struggles were to your story, and did you learn a lot from them?
Yeah, I mean, if I never had those struggles, I mean, I never would have been able to grow and expand. And even though I never really got my numbers up to like crazy points, 10, 20,000, nothing like that, it did allow me to free up my time to be able to make YouTube videos, to end up learning about Amazon, to get into other businesses, to have more free time. So, the struggles are imperative. Those are what allow you to grow. And
Hmm.
my opportunity, in my eyes, every challenge, every struggle, every problem is an opportunity to be able to learn something new and just figure something out. So I mean, the challenges, if you guys are dealing with challenges in your business right now, it's an opportunity for you. There's something that's off. And like in my business nowadays, when I have a challenge, it's an opportunity to create a system and put things in place to be able to somewhat put it on autopilot.
Right, and that's what it sounded like. Like even as you were telling that story, I'm like, okay, that's really what came of that because of the struggle and everything. It forced you to make a system that would work better for you, and I'm sure that you now make systems kind of for everything. Like all good entrepreneurs that I know, you figure out something, and you go, okay, this needs a system. This chaos needs some kind of system, and it makes life way better. So,
Exactly.
when you were first starting, I know that you were at your parents' house and stuff like that, and but were you scared to get going, or was it more like you had extra money and you were kind of it was just a side hustle thing? Or I guess when I should ask that is when you decided to leave Cracker Barrel, were you scared to make that jump, to make that the thing that made you your money?
Yeah, I was definitely scared. I don't remember everything specifically in terms of how much money I had in my bank account and whatnot, but I know I had probably less than $1,000 in my bank account. Maybe I had 2 or 3 thousand. I don't remember, but I know I didn't have a ton of money. So I was a little worried. And my dad's kind of like a hard ass. He's a CPA, and as you know, Rob, I've heard your
Right.
CPA rants before on your YouTube channel. You know how the CPAs are, man. We're not going to go into
Absolutely.
too much detail. I don't want to get in trouble here. Uh, but he was kind of a, you know what, sometimes, and it was a good thing, though. Kept me in line. So I didn't want to let him down. I really didn't want to let him down because, again, I screwed up a lot when I was younger. We don't have to get into all the details, but I wanted to prove to him that I could make it happen. And I remember people telling me, people at Cracker Barrel were like, "You're going to quit your job to be selling bikes," and like. I don't know if I was getting in. I think I was slowly starting to get into eBay and selling bikes. I was doing a few hustles, but my parents kind of looked at me weird. Mama Profits was always
Right.
supportive. She was always
Awesome.
supportive, and she's been a motivator for me for a lot of things. She's always been there for me because having someone believe in you is like half the struggle.
That's huge. A
Um,
lot of people don't have that. I'm going to touch on that a little bit later, but yeah, I mean, to have someone there and be like, go for it, that's awesome.
Yeah, so there were definitely some struggles, and I wasn't 100% sure. But the more businesses that I've started, the more I realize there's always going to be that risk, and there's no
Mhm.
guarantee for anything in life. People always ask me, Steve. I had someone message me the other day, Steve, if I get started doing this business, how long is it going to take for me to make $1,000? There's so
Right,
many
right.
factors. I really hate those questions. I mean, I've
Yeah,
asked them myself. I know people are saying it because they're scared too. So it's out of a
right.
good part of their heart. But there's so many factors comes into play to succeed in any business that it's scary.
Right. Well, and Steve 3 years ago to make $1,000 to Steve now to make $1,000, it's night and day. I mean, just in what it's like I know that me starting out to make $1,000, it would have taken a lot more. I would have had to hit my head against the wall a lot more, and I could make so just in that. And what do you have to start with? But yeah, that's a huge that's a question I get
the,
often
the
too.
first part's always the hardest because you don't know what to do. You don't have the systems in place. Like you don't know how it works. And I'm just an average guy making average amounts of money. I do
Mhm.
anywhere between $6,000 to $8,000 per month on Amazon FBA. But that's good money. And but
Right.
the point I'm trying to make is I almost do it on autopilot without even trying that hard. And I'm not trying to come off like cocky and like special because it's not the case at all. But it's kind of like riding a bike, right? When you ride a bike, after a while, you're riding with your hands off the handlebars. You're doing crazy tricks. You're not even like
Right.
paying attention to riding the bike. Whereas when you first start, you're like, holy crap, I'm gonna die.
Right.
Um,
Right.
so the point I'm trying to make is the more you practice the business, the more you sell on eBay, sell on Amazon, it almost becomes a habit, something that just happens if you do certain things.
Right. And like when I was on the Green Room show and I was like telling you guys how I couldn't get away, I can't get away from the thrifting because I'll just go. My daughter likes to go thrifting, and I'll go there and I'll pick up dollars all day long, and I don't have to think about it because I just know. And it's like I can't just leave it sitting there. You know what I mean? It's like just that repetitive learning, what sells, what's good, and then it's like you go somewhere and it's almost like there's just dollar signs just kind of popping up throughout the place, you know? So how did you end up overcoming your fear originally? To just get going and do the Cracker Barrel, get out of there, like how did you overcome that?
Well, Tony Robbins, I'm a big Tony Robbins fan, and he says the number one motivator in people's life, whether it's doing something, not doing something, taking action, or sitting back passively, is pain and pleasure. Think about anything that you ever do, Rob, or anybody watching right now, anything you do, deciding to eat food, deciding to go exercise, deciding to work, deciding to do anything, or deciding not to do anything. It's a decision. Any decision is predicated on pain or pleasure. People do things because they think they're going to get something that rewards them, that's going to bring pleasure, great feelings, or they do something to avoid the pain. For me, there was a lot of pain associated with clocking into the Cracker Barrel. There was a lot of pain. A lot of pain, and I'm being 100% serious. I remember driving there and sitting in the parking lot, had my little girly apron on, had 2 stars. They used to give you a star system.
Yeah.
And I remember sitting there like, I don't want to do this right now. Like, I hate it. Like, the people were cool. The food was good. There was no complaints, but I hated it. I hated having to attend to somebody else's watch. And there was so much pain that was associated to working for somebody else and not making too much money and being stuck there, and I just didn't want to be there. That the fear, the pain of having to go to work outweighed the fear, and it was almost a no-brainer to me.
Yeah, that's awesome. So, and I understand that, man. I can't stand being told where to go and what to wear and what to do. Like, and then like if you try and help when you're at a place, you're an employee that's supposed to just be told what to do. And then, but you have ideas. They hate that. So yeah, I definitely understand where you're coming from there.
Exactly.
Now, you hit on this a little bit earlier. How did the people around you, friends and family, act about your decision to start your own business? When you got out of there, you were saying your friends were just kind of like, "That's crazy," and Mom was cool. Was Dad good about it, or was he like, "What are you doing here?"
I don't remember exactly what his take was, but I don't think he was thrilled about the idea. You know, I'm sure he believed in me deep down inside because he's a great guy. But you know, it was just that feeling. I don't remember it specifically, but I know there was a feeling of just kind of like, really, you're gonna try this? Because I've always been, one of my struggles always growing up was I would start something and then I would quit it with mostly anything that I did. So you couldn't blame, your parents or friends, or because they know you, they know what that you typically do. So I mean, I had to break the pattern. So they were definitely, it was a struggle, and that's why it's just so like, anyone watching right now, you're so lucky to have this YouTube community, to have these Facebook groups, and having people that support you is the backbone of success at first, in my opinion. So
yeah, it's huge.
Exactly. So yeah, that's pretty much it.
Yeah, and it's interesting now too, because once the Facebook things start coming up and there's these forums and all this stuff, it's like now you don't have to be on your own as an entrepreneur, and you've got other people that all are understanding the same thing you're going through, and it's like, God, I wish we would have had more of that when I was starting. You know what I mean? You're just like scared, going, is everything going to come through? I got to get more money in here because it's going out over here, and it's pretty crazy.
There are young guys. I knew a guy who I released a program that I don't sell anymore, but it was called the K Business Academy, and I would teach people how to make money selling Kindle books, selling CreateSpace books, audio books through ACX is Amazon's program. And there was this 15-year-old, his name was Justin. Some of you guys might know him, and I don't want to give too much details, but all I have to say is he was 15 years old, and after going through my program, getting coaching from others, and he was learning a lot from my buddy Dave Koziel, he had to explain to his parents why he had $100,000 in his bank account.
Right. Wow. What a problem.
So the point I'm trying to make is, and obviously that's not normal and ordinary. I'm kind of like one of those commercials. These are not typical results.
Fine print at the bottom of the screen.
Exactly. But it's just an example. My buddy Dave Koziel was just telling me about a guy that's in his group. He's got a website, milliondollarbiz.com, and he's actually starting and documenting his journey of building $1 million business. He's got a Facebook group and a blog, great resource. But he was telling me about a kid that he knows who decided not to do private label on Amazon. He decided to take the products that he sourced from Alibaba and sell them on his own website, a Shopify website. And he's doing about $1,000 a day, and I believe he's 17
Wow.
years old. So you guys, I mean, I wish that
That's
we
crazy.
we had these resources when I was 14, 15, man. I'd never be working at gas stations, pizzerias,
Yeah.
Namco.
It's crazy. We have a huge, I mean, there is such a huge opportunity, and that's one of the reasons why I want to do these shows is because, a lot of people, if they listen to the media especially, it's like there's no opportunity and everything is bleak and everything is bad. And it's like they need to hear people like you and me and all these success stories. The people I hang out with are all doing awesome, and it's like because they believe in themselves and they believe they can do something and believe in the opportunity. So that's very cool. So, lastly, on kind of your beginnings, what advice would you give those people who might be on the fence about getting started on their own business?
I would advise to listen to others, right? Get in the Facebook groups, get into YouTube, educate yourself as much as possible, but don't get into what's it called, the analysis paralysis.
Right.
Don't fall into that trap where you're just trying to learn, and like plan, and like the universe and like the stars have to align, and like once this is done, and like once like Rob Anderson messages me back and tells me it's possible to make $2,000 with books, like once he finally does, then I'm gonna start. Like no, like
Right.
just get started. Whether it's eBay or Amazon, I would pick one thing. Get started, learn as much as you can, maybe for a couple weeks, and just get started. My advice to you is don't get into like some of the higher end things like retail arbitrage and pawn shops, unless you're like a business owner who, if you have experience with business and you understand accounting and cost of goods and profit and all the things that go along with running a business. If you're just getting started, you're a younger guy or gal, or you've never run a business before, start something, whether it's books or selling clothing, and try to buy inventory for as cheap as possible to minimize the risk. Go to garage sales, go to thrift stores. If you are going to go to retail stores, shop off the clearance section, get things for $1 or $2, and start listing items up and start kind of going through the process, because I don't care what course you take. I don't care if you watch all my videos or Rob's videos or you read all the blogs, podcasts. It doesn't matter. You're still going to make mistakes, and the key is you're going to have to just take action, make mistakes, and try to minimize your losses at first, because you're gonna have obstacles, and you're going to do things that you're going to say, oh my God, why did I do that? Why did I ship out 2 eBay items and they both went to the opposite person?
Right.
I've done that before. So just get started, take action, learn as much as possible, and stay consistent, guys. The key is consistency. If you can improve 1% per day, over a year or two, you could be a top dog in the industry. The thing is, most people, they learn for a short period of time, they get comfortable, and they stop. You don't want to do that. You want to consistently be learning, and it's kind of like they say invest your money in stocks when you're early, stocks and bonds and all that stuff when you're young, because it's that compound interest. It's the same thing. It's the
Right.
compounding over time. So just get started now, and you'll be surprised where you are in a year or two from now.
That is huge advice right there. I should just make a clip and put that up on YouTube. Because, so just to go over that again, so it's take action first off. Secondly, you want to get good at one thing. Stay working on the one thing for a while till you get good at it. And third, always be learning. So write that down, everybody. That is huge information for you. So I do want to talk about, there you go, right? I do want to talk about, because you did move out from when you were doing the clothing from your parents' house, it must have been overtaking your room big time, into
Yep.
the storage unit, correct?
Yep.
And how
Yep.
how did that go? Like, how did you decide, like, okay, I'm ready to take this step and do this? That must have been a decent-sized step.
I ran out of room, man, and I ran out of room in my room, and I started to take over my dad's basement. And he was not thrilled about the idea of me setting up those little tents. I don't know if you ever go to Walmart and there's those like little white tents, and you
Oh,
zip
yeah.
it open and you put the clothing in. I had 4 or 5 of those in the basement because I was probably up to probably, I don't know, 5 or 600 in inventory. My room could only hold, I think, 300, so I was taking over the basement. And my dad freaking hates anything in his way. If you get anything in his way, he will take you down. Will take you down. Good guy, but he likes things neat and organized, and I was just destroying the house, so I can't blame him.
I understand it. Yeah.
So
It can
again,
happen quickly.
pain and pleasure. There was more
Right.
pain of my father biting into my neck
Right.
than having to pay for storage and having to drive there every day. But ended up getting a little storage container a town over from where I lived. I'm trying to think. I think it was I don't know, 300 or 200 square, maybe 150 square feet or 200 square feet. I don't remember, but
Mhm.
moved everything into there. Ended up investing in some nice metal. I don't know what material it was, but some nice metal clothing racks, multiple tiers, and got everything in there. And it was nice to have my own space. And I started to really see the power of having my own space, and it motivated me to make more money and grow because it made me think, wow, this is awesome having my own space for my inventory. Imagine how nice it would be to have my own space to live in. And I think
Right.
within a year, I grew my businesses to the point through the use of YouTube and eBay and Craigslist to move out on my own, which, I was, what, 20, 25 or 26, which it was late. It was time for me to go. The nest, the birds had left. I was just sitting there all
Right.
by myself. I had to get out of the nest and fly eventually. So yeah, saved up, built my business enough to move out, but that was definitely the building grounds right there.
Well, I think that's huge for people to hear that maybe are in the same situation you were, still 25 at home or whatever, working some job they might hate, and it's like you were able to overcome all that by your own efforts, by learning and doing, and you even, I mean, that's a really big step to take it out of your house and like this is legit. Like I'm doing this somewhere else, and I think right around that same time you got, I don't know if it was your first employee, but you had an employee around that time as well.
Yeah, when I moved it out of the storage unit, and it's funny, I skipped over that completely during the introduction because there's just so many like learning curves I had to go
Right.
through and so many steps. But yeah, once I outgrew that place and I wanted to have somebody taking pictures for me and listing and stuff, we moved on to the into the office space, which was, I think I was going from 150 square feet in the storage locker to about 500 square feet. Plus downstairs I had another 300 square feet for holding all my inventory and whatnot. So yeah, we moved over there, and it was a big step. But yeah, I mean, it's just so important to consistently grow and learn, and don't let the fear stop you. There was so much fear, Rob, man, when
Oh
I
yeah, of
was.
course. Those are huge steps. I mean, you had in the last 3 years, if you can like just listen to what you're talking about, you went from working a crappy job, living at your parents' house, to starting this business that you were able to take into a storage unit and then get an employee and then get a bigger office space and then you move out into your own place and you do. We haven't even got into the 90-day
And
travel-tage
the,
or you know.
I didn't even tell you too. Another big obstacle as well, and this is going to touch on the power of just believing in yourself, the power in knowing yourself, because each one of us, we have different goals, we have different things that make us tick, different desires, different values. I guess that's what I'm trying to say. We all have different values, and one of my biggest values, Rob, my whole life was always freedom. I loved freedom.
Yeah.
Well, before this whole thing even went down, I don't know if I was. I think I was still at the Cracker Barrel. This is before. I think I was, yeah, I was reselling at the time, but I was supposed to go. I had actually gotten accepted into a radiology program.
Oh
It
wow.
was a very difficult program in college. There was about 300 or 400 people that applied to this program, and they were only going to let 17 people in. And I ended up getting, I think, a 3.9 GPA over the couple years, and got accepted into the program. Went to orientation, was getting ready. You guys, Raiken Profit would have never existed. You never would have known
Right.
me. I would have just been another person out there with the millions of people out there, you know, driving to
Wow.
work and fighting traffic. I got accepted into this rare program. It was this difficult program, and my dad was so proud, my family was so proud, and I did it all
Sure.
for the wrong reasons, man. I did it because I wanted to make my father proud, man. I wanted to make my parents happy. At the time, my grandparents were both still alive, and I wanted to make them proud. And I got accepted into this program, man, and I was just so unhappy. I'm like, I don't want to do this. I always liked helping people, but it's not what I wanted to do, and I turned that program down. And shortly after, I'm getting kind of mixed up with the timeline, but shortly after, you know, Cracker Barrel was done, and I was on my own, and
Right.
so.
Dude, that's huge that you had what society would deem this perfect opportunity. It's like Steve got accepted into this thing that is so tiny, you know, that no one else can get accepted into, and you decided you had the courage to say, this isn't what I want to do the rest of my life. And I think a lot of people, they see that opportunity where everyone's like, because you get, when you have a job or you're going to school or whatever, you get society's like, attaboy, you know what I mean? And so for you to turn your back on that because you knew what you wanted to do, that's huge, man. And like you said, if you wouldn't have stepped out off that ledge, that I'm not doing this, into the great unknown of YouTube and the Amazon and eBay and all this other stuff, I mean, there wouldn't be Raiken Profits. So
Yeah, and so many people were so disappointed in me for not going through that program, and you know what? You just got to believe in yourself and do what your heart says. If you're watching this video, guys, and you've got a family, and you know you're working a day job and you're miserable, you know, my advice wouldn't be, and I bet you'd agree with me, Rob. Our advice probably wouldn't be to quit your day job instantly,
right.
but start working towards your dream. Start dream building. Start, you know, create a vision board, right? I've got a vision board. I look at it every day, and take out pictures of magazines or quotes or things that you see and start putting it on this vision board and start imagining the life that you want. And you know, I'm not a millionaire, you know, I'm not rich, you know, I still, you know, have to grind constantly to earn more money and pay bills and save, but I am living my dream in a sense where I get to wake up, do what I want, earn money by helping people, making a difference, having treasure hunts, going to thrift stores, hanging out with mama profits all day, going on 2-day trips. Like, I am like so freaking lucky, and a lot of you folks watching too, you're so lucky for this opportunity.
Yeah, amen. I mean, I wake up sometimes and just am like, dude, I get paid to help people and shop. You know what I mean? Like, it's such a trip. I love it. I don't have, because I had this other business, and I would always get the phone calls from these other companies, and I was having to put out their fires, and so I would wake up just like, oh, what's it going to be today? And I don't have that anymore. And so, yeah, that's so huge, man. You guys, thumbs up this thing. I know that you're getting great value here. It's so huge. And like you said, if you have a family, you have bills, you have all that stuff, work this thing on the side. And you know, you don't even have to let anyone know you're doing it. Start with $50 or $100 and just start doing it on the side until you feel a little success. Then start sharing. That way you keep up the courage to keep it going.
Exactly. And when you have a YouTube channel, it's so easy for people to judge you. Like, I even see in the comments and on YouTube, people say, you know, Steve Raiken, he jumps around. He tries, he goes from eBay to private label. He said he's going to do this. He doesn't do that. He does this. You guys, if you're young, or even if you're not young, experiment with different things. Like, especially if you're young, don't be scared of people criticizing you. I get criticized all the time, Rob, because people say, oh, he changes his mind all the time. He's jumping from thing to thing. You guys, I'm experimenting. I'm living life. I'm trying to see what works for me. You know, recently I've been going into private label. I've been learning a lot about it. I was getting ready to launch my first product, but things didn't work out. Competition came in, destroyed my margins. So what are you going to do? But I'm trying. I'm taking action. And so many people are so scared by what other people think. You can't let others dictate your actions in life, because you're going to be miserable. Because at the end of the day, when you go to bed at night, you're the only one who's going to take care of yourself. Anyone else out there who's judging you, they're not going to pay your bills. They're not going to live your life for you. So.
Absolutely. And, you know, that's one of the things I actually admire about you, is that you are trying all these different things. And, you know, you try out everything and see what you like. You still have the things that you know are going to make you the money. You know your bills are going to be paid by whatever they are for you. You know what they are. And so the bills are going to be paid by this stuff. Now I can try doing, you know, you did the vending machines, or the candy thing. I don't know. Yeah, you know, but so what? You tried. What if it would have? And you had that extra money coming from over here that you were able to do that and try it. So, I mean, kudos to you, because not only do you try it, it's not like you have just your friends and family who might say, oh, man, he's trying all this crazy stuff. Bro, you're putting yourself out there in front of 30,000 people almost on YouTube and being like, check this stuff out. You know, I mean, it's huge.
And I'm only human, just like you. Like, we're only humans, you know. I mean, I'm just flawed as anybody else. I've got things that I'm not proud of. I've got, bad habits and bad rituals, and I'm just a normal guy like you or anybody else watching who is human, and
Right.
it's a challenge at times, and I'm sure you could agree, putting yourself out there on YouTube, and I can only imagine what it's like for real people putting themselves out there, like celebrities and Kobe Bryant and like all these
Right.
freaking like movie stars. Like when you put yourself out in the spotlight, it's so easy for people to shine the light on you and see every little flaw and like, oh, look what he's doing, look what he's doing. But man, put yourself in their shoes for a second.
Well, what I think is cool, and like the people that I bring on this show and the people I surround myself with, I met Jim Cockrum at CES3 this last year, and he said something to me that really stuck with me. And he was like, you have a servant's heart. And he knows that, like, I want to help other people. And that's what I know you have. Because, look, guys, it's not easy making videos every single day to help everybody. What's the return? We don't know what any return's going to be on all this stuff. You know what I mean? So I really appreciate that you're doing that, and I know how hard it is. Even to make that first video is ridiculous. Most
Oh
people
my
don't
gosh.
even want to make a video ever in their life, and we're doing it. We're sitting here live. We got almost 50 people on here, and we're just putting everything out there for them. To help them. That the whole point of this is to help them. We're not selling you anything. We're not doing anything like that. It's like just to help. So I think that's
I
huge.
got one thing I want them to do right now, though, Rob. Do you know what that is?
I'm not
We've
sure.
got 48 people watching live right now. You see, I'm not a mathematician, like my father. He's a CPA, but we have 48 people watching live. It is only 24 likes, so I'm not a
Oh
mathematician, but
yeah.
something is not adding up right now. We got to get some likes on this video, man.
Yeah, you guys smash that like button. You're getting tons of content. You got to be loving this. And if you're watching this and it's not live, smash it anyway. We'd love to see it. Like this thing. Let us know in the comments too. What kind of things are you picking up? What are you enjoying and stuff? It's just I'm enjoying the heck out of it. And actually, my time frame is getting smashed here. So I want to talk about where you are now. We talked so much about where you're from and everything, and like, what does your business kind of quickly look like as of right now?
Yeah, so in terms of my e-commerce business, like I said, it's mostly Amazon FBA, doing anywhere between 6 to 8 grand per month. Got about a 50% profit margin. Sell a lot of books, do a lot of electronics from pawn shops. Um, I've actually been venturing into shoes and clothing from a lot of retail stores like Marshalls, TJ Maxx. Um, my price per sale is anywhere between, well, right now it's a little bit over 20. It's been coming down a lot lately because I've been sending in so many books, and I
Hmm.
sell a lot of $10, $11 books that I get for $1 and make about $4 profit on them. So
Right.
my average price per sale is coming down. But mostly Amazon FBA in terms of my e-commerce, selling on eBay, but last month I only did about $1,000 on eBay.
Hmm.
When it comes to Craigslist, I do some around there as well. Sometimes it's a couple $100, sometimes it's 1,000. So that's my e-commerce business right there. Um, I do run a YouTube channel as well, where I do make some money from YouTube. And I was just telling Rob before, I've been putting out a lot of videos lately, and I'm actually on track, which is impressive, man. Because as you know, with YouTube, you don't make a ton of money, man.
Right.
Like for me, I average about this month. I'm averaging about 170,000 views for the month,
Hmm.
and it looks like I'm going to make about $700, which isn't big money, but for just like
It's
having
great,
fun and
man.
like shooting, with people and having a good time, like
Yeah.
so that's fun. I run a membership website as well. I've got a few products and services that I offer, and I do some affiliate marketing and stuff like that. And I'm trying to think of other things I do, but it all kind of adds up to my income, and it's just a mixture. Oh, I completely forgot my publishing business. So I earn money every month from Kindle books, CreateSpace, and ACX, which over the last 6 months has dwindled down significantly. I think last month I made about 3 grand. It's probably going to dwindle down to around 2 grand. So just because there's a lot of changes and I'm not putting a ton of effort into it, but
Hmm.
I'm transparent. I share how much I make. Like I said, I'm not a millionaire. I'm just an average guy, and hopefully it can inspire you. And if you're making a lot more money than me, I'm proud of you. Good for
Right.
you. Keep doing it. And there's just so many opportunities out there. It's ridiculous.
Well, and listen, if you are in that same space or anything like you're thinking, I don't know if I can do this. I mean, Steve's life has changed so much in the last 3 years, and I hadn't really realized that. And I'm glad that we've had this show because I mean, you've really made some huge changes, and you went from just, selling a little bit here and there to all the stuff you just listed. Like, you've had some massive action, and that's just awesome. So,
Thank you.
what has been the most important lesson you've learned to help your business succeed and stay successful?
Well, the biggest thing for me is probably just not giving up. Just always willing to figure something out. Don't quit too early. Like I said, I was always a quitter when I was younger. I'd always give up, but I always quit. The key is to figure it out, learn, network with other people. One of my biggest, I'd say probably one of the biggest things for me, and this is why people always ask, why do you put so much time and effort into your YouTube channel? Because I know without my YouTube channel, I could take away a lot of things out of my life, right? And I'd still be able to run my business. But without the YouTube channel, I would probably be nothing, because it's the networking, it's learning from others, it's the connections, there's just so many factors. So that's probably the biggest thing right there, I'd say.
Yeah, that's huge. How important are the systems in your business now? You talked about that a little earlier about how that was a pain point. Are you making tons of systems in your business to make things run smooth?
Yeah, definitely. For example, in the membership site that I run called the Green Room, which teaches people how to make money primarily with Amazon, eBay, e-commerce, putting systems in line. One of our biggest struggles was we were trying to put enough time in to be able to, get into the community and answer questions. We wanted to make videos. We wanted to create courses. That's what we're really good at. We've realized our strength in the Green Room, me, Chris, Eric, and Yang, which are the founders of the Green Room, our strengths is creating content and helping the members. But we were spending a ton of time dealing with a lot of the administration stuff, dealing with payment processing, refunds, just updating the sheets and the bookkeeping and the taxes and all these different things that we were spending so much time trying to do, and it was taken away from our strength, which was creating content and helping our members. And this is just one example with one of my businesses. So what we decided to do was hire a virtual assistant, and what we did was we created a private Facebook group just for her. Big shout out to Jenny in the Green Room. She really makes a lot of the things run smoothly in there. But we created a private Facebook for her. We created a bunch of videos, training videos of everything that we wanted done, every system, every process. We brought her in there. We put a bunch of things in there, and that was a system, an asset that we created. So if, God forbid, anything ever happens where Jenny has to go, or she has a few kids and whatnot, she's from the Philippines, if anything happens with her, we could bring someone in easily and train them up, because we've created so many systems where it's a well-oiled machine that we could bring someone into.
Yeah, that's huge. Do you do that with your employees in your eBay business, or do you just teach as you go along? Because I know making the videos, it's nice to be able to have all that right there.
Yeah, I mean, I only have one guy who helps out with the eBay business now, because I do it very little.
Sure.
But for example, I've created something, a clothing template for my employee, which has all the relevant information. So when they're taking pictures, instead of them just having a clean piece of paper to try to write down the brand, the size, the measurements, we have a whole template, a system that we've created for him. And when he takes pictures, he just fills it all out, and he's got a step-by-step process. So,
Boom.
those are just two examples, but there's systems for every business out there, and I've got so many more systems to create, especially for Amazon FBA. I mean, I've got so much to learn, guys. It's crazy.
Yeah, it's fun. There's, like you said, there's always something to learn. Okay, I want to ask you kind of a mixed up question, and then I want to let you talk more about the things that you have out there right now. What gives you juice in your life, and do you love having your own business?
One of the biggest things that gives me juice is health. It's getting outdoors. It's lifting weights. It's spending time with friends and family. It's playing tennis. It's helping others. But health is the number one thing for me. If I'm healthy, if I'm feeling good, if I'm hydrated, I've actually recently become vegan, so I eat a lot of fruits and vegetables. Been doing that for about 3 or 4 months now. If I'm feeling good, it helps out so much in all other areas of my life. When I'm healthy, my family, relationships, business, finances, everything improves. So that gives me juice right there. That's a big thing. But helping people is huge. If I'm feeling good, it's helping people. I get so much more pleasure out of helping someone make $100 versus actually making $100 myself.
Right.
Do I like running a business? I hate it. I hate it. No, I'm just kidding.
Well, there's always Cracker Barrel, bro.
This is it, man. I'm gonna be honest with you guys. I've got to say it, man. I'm going back to the Cracker Barrel, and I'm gonna
I
start a
knew it. I
a
got the
newspaper
last
route.
interview.
Exactly. I'm retiring, man. We're gonna give away my business live on the DollarMoves YouTube channel.
That's right. Whoever wants it, just kidding.
Auction.
Oh my gosh. Well, hey man, this has been killer. We've got 5 minutes left here. I'd love it. Just talk about what you have out there. I'll put links below once this thing processes. I really think that the green room, you got to hit on that some more and let people know about it, where they can find it, and just everything you want to talk about.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not really, I'm a salesman at heart. Like, I love selling and stuff, but the more I've done YouTube and the more I've kind of gone on live shows, the more I really don't like to sell that much. But I mean, I will mention a few things, but I'm not gonna sell anybody just because, I feel like if people want to do it, they're gonna have to take action, and the information's out there. But we do have a membership site called the Green Room that I run alongside with the Bonafide Hustler, Chris Young. Goes by Retro Aficionado, and Eric, the College Picker on YouTube. We run a membership site, the Green Room, and like we were saying before, man, it's all about having community, people there for you to help and make a difference. We've got a website called greenroomuniversity.com. It's for the members only. We've got training videos in there. We've got about 6 or 7 courses in there. We've got a lot of different things, private shows in there, so that's definitely something that could help a lot of you folks out. If you're interested in that, I'd recommend getting the free book that we put out called 100 Amazing Items to Resell. So if you want anything, I would say get the free book, RaikenProfit.com/100 Amazing Items, and you get that free book, you'll get put on our email list, and we'll send you out a bunch of information, and you'll be able to learn more about that. But yeah, my website right now, RaikenProfit.com, is under construction. It's going to be up probably in about 2 weeks. I've got a whole new web design, and going to be doing a lot more blogging. And for you, this is something you might want to start doing, Rob, is I'm actually going to be getting transcripts made of each one of my YouTube videos, and I'll be making blog posts out of it as well.
Oh, nice.
Which is great for the people who prefer to read over watching videos, and it's great for SEO and Google and everything. So going to be getting my videos transcribed and getting the blog up and going, but I got a lot of cool things over there. But that's pretty much it. In a couple of weeks, if you guys want to check out that site, you'll be able to learn more about me and see if there's anything I could do to help you. But I'd say, honestly, my best advice to you is just, get the free book, RaikenProfit.com/100 Amazing Items, and watch my free videos at Raiken Profit on my YouTube channel. I know, Rob, you're going to be coming on my channel as well for a live show.
I'll be on there the 26th at 4 o'clock Pacific, 7 Eastern.
Yeah, so check that out for sure. That's good, guys. That's gonna be some good stuff. I'm excited to flip the script on you, man. I'm gonna have to come prepared, man, with a lot of good questions for you.
That's right. Well, hey, also you just came out with your pawn shop profits. I know you do a lot of pawn shop purchasing, and that's something I don't do at all. So why don't you just let people know where they can find out about that?
Yeah, so I'm trying to think what the URL is off the top of my head.
I will put that in the description. Why don't you just talk about what it is?
I'll send you over the URL, but I created a book called Pawn Shop Profits that actually teaches people how to make money buying and sourcing from pawn shops. Specifically, the best way is to sell it on Amazon FBA. There's really not enough profit typically on most items from pawn shops onto eBay. But I actually go to a lot of pawn shops all the time, and I buy different items like calculators, electronics, PC items, video games, cameras. I mean, the list goes on, and I flip them on Amazon FBA, and I've sold thousands of dollars from pawn shops. If you guys are looking for a way to make money other than the normal traditional garage sales, thrift stores, retail stores, pawn shops are great. There's a lot of money to be made there. I wish I got started. You are gonna pay more typically for an item at a pawn shop, and you're gonna have to know what you're doing. So for anyone who's a beginner, don't buy the book. Just don't buy it. If you're intermediate, advanced, you've been doing it for 6-8 months, a year, and you want to increase your margins, you know how to run a business, I would look into the pawn shops. There's a lot of money to be made there. It's fun. You get to negotiate. There's a lot of relationship building that comes into play. There's a lot of bundling that comes into play, and it's just a ton of fun. I picked up I'll give you 2 examples. I went to a pawn shop with the valet picker who has a YouTube channel, and he saw me firsthand go into this pawn shop and destroy it. Went to a pawn shop down the street from my house, picked up a video game, NCAA, I think 14 or 15 for Xbox 360, paid 10, sold that for 45 instantly.
Nice.
Picked up one of those disc writers. You ever see those discs that you have music on, and you could like, you ever see how some people put like a little label on top and make a cool design?
I've killed it on those things. Yeah,
dude,
label makers.
It was for sale for $120. I saw my boy. I said, "Hey, what's up, man? What's going on? How you doing? What can you do, man, for this Xbox 360 game, for this disc writer, and for a it was a Canon PowerShot ELPH 110? What could you do, man? Bundle it all up. I got cash out the door, no returns. Don't worry about it. I don't need a receipt. Blah blah blah." He took that thing down from $120 down to $40 for the disc writer, and then the camera, I got that for $30. Sold the camera for $200. Sold the disc writer for $249, and sold the video game for $40. Again, these are not typical results, like a commercial, but just one example happened a month ago. It's on video. It's on one of my vlogs. You can see it, and you could ask Valet Picker. There's money to be made, guys.
Yeah, that's awesome, and it's something that people really aren't looking at, and I've never. No, maybe I looked video games before there, but a long time ago. But yeah, I think that's super cool. So again, I'll put the link down below. We are over by a minute, but do you have anything that you'd like to share as parting words here, Steve?
Yeah, I would just say, for everybody watching, make today the day that counts, right? If there's something that you want to do, if there's a business you want to get started, today's the day, right? There's never going to be a perfect day, right? There's going to be challenges in your life, whether it's kids or just worried about losing money or the economy or what's going on in your local town. I mean, there's always going to be things there's always excuses. There's always excuses, but you got to make today the day that counts, and you got to get started, and you got to stick with it, and you got to get a community by your side, and you just got to never quit and never give up, and you'll get there. It doesn't take a rocket scientist to do what we do. It doesn't take anybody special. You don't have to have a 4.0 GPA. You just have to be willing to learn and work hard and stick with it over time. And if you do that, most of the competition's already given up and moved on. So.
That's huge. Thank you so much for coming on to the show.
Thank you, Rob.
I know you've added so much value here. If you guys like what you've heard, and I don't know how you couldn't, hit that thumbs up button down below. Share some comments, share some love. If you're watching this later on, and just let Steve know how much value that he's given. I truly appreciate you coming on here, my friend. I look forward to seeing you on the 26th as well.
Thank you.
I have some quick housekeeping here. I said all that stuff. Let's see here. If you got here late or were unable to see the whole live show, the link will take you to the replay. The links are set up like this: dollarmoves.com/getting to know, and then the guest's first name and last name. So the link to tonight's show is dollarmoves.com/getting to know Steve Raiken. Now, I'm going to be having another show on the 20th, May 20th, on Friday at 7 a.m. Pacific, 10 a.m. Eastern. It's going to be early, but it's going to be worth it. My guest will be multi-million-dollar-a-year Amazon seller Sam Cohen. So the link to the show is dollarmoves.com, getting to know Sam Cohen. And again, that's going to be Friday, May 20th at 7 a.m. Pacific, 10 a.m. Eastern. I hope to see you there, and thank you all for being a part of the show and coming and checking it out. Steve, thanks again, man. This has been a blast.
Thanks for having me, Rob.
Absolutely. And thank you guys for showing up. I truly appreciate it, and we'll see you on the next video. Take care.